Well, welcome again, and nice dinner and good conversation. Any questions about anything so far so good? Not a lot's changed in the program. We made some refinements. This is one of them with the with the assessment stuff. But we just like to talk about any course specific questions that you may have first. Anything that you're teaching with us, or we in pretty good shape. I visited Gene a few weeks ago and did one of those visits, and it went really well. Your students are fantastic, great job. Well, I've been with all of you guys, so it's, what do you think? Any course specific questions? Any?
I just have that one about the textbook.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that.
It looks like it's the same one, only it's hardback instead of paperback, but the
Right.
pages
But
for
the
the
pages
mini
don't
sets
line
don't
up.
correspond.
I'll definitely have to take a look at that. I don't know if they've adopted that one yet as a new
Okay.
textbooks. It might be in the spring. So if it's a spring adoption, what I'll probably do is I'll just go in and update that syllabus till we get a new full-time person on here to.
Or else can we
to do
just
it.
use that Sylvan, whatever it is?
You can still, the practice set is still the practice set. You can still use what
Okay,
you
because
were
I have
doing
made
before,
up
Carol.
all these handouts.
No, you can still, as long as we can do the practice set and then go through the worksheet, the accounting cycle, that's
Okay.
it.
All
It
right.
doesn't, it doesn't matter if it comes from our text or not, as long as we can see, those, because you know how we are, we're all about that the competencies can be met, and it doesn't have to be the exact same one I'm doing, as long as it hits the competencies that we're trying to achieve. So, excellent. Any other course-specific questions? Common assessments, we usually collect those in years in which we visit you. So about once every 3 years, we'll come and pop our heads in your class and talk with you and collect the assessment. What has changed is this, and really the only real thing that's changed is this first sheet, this instruction set. I was in a meeting over the summer. They called me in July because we were getting assessments in, and our faculty said, well, that's not the assessment that we asked for, and it's not what we were looking for and everything. So they said, well, what can we do? I said, well, maybe we better tell our faculty members in high school what we want. And so they said, okay, Joe, good idea, do it. So I worked on, I came up with this about, the why we do assessment. I mean, we're all professional teachers. We know why we do this, but I just wanted to give folks some context as to what it is and what we think about it at the college and everything. But the important thing is what comes next. I'm looking at the BUS 110 one real
No,
quick.
I'm looking at.
The ACC?
It says introduction to business plan
Yeah.
project guide. That's 100, isn't it?
No, that's 110.
110, we didn't do a business plan, the 100 course.
This should be intro to. I think our intro to business is 110. I don't know that we have.
Do you have the marketing and the principles of accounting?
See, principles of accounting is 110, because that's
Yeah.
what I taught last year, but we didn't do a business.
No,
plan.
but this is BUS 110. This is
different
intro to
course.
business.
Oh, gotcha now, okay, where'd you get that to me? You could
They're
read.
still doing that practice set that they
Okay.
have up on the
Yeah.
My Peak for the 110.
And the
The
marketing is the
marketing,
same?
yeah, the marketing should be. I'll tell you what, I haven't checked on the async for that. If it's not, shoot me an email and I'll shoot you my project and the grading rubric.
Yeah,
and
I
everything
think I
else.
have it if
Yeah.
it hasn't changed.
No, it hasn't. It really hasn't changed.
Okay, then I have it.
I did tweak a couple of years ago. I tweaked the grading rubric. It says advanced proficiency, proficient, minimal proficiency, and unacceptable or something like that. So if that's the rubric that you have, then
Okay.
then we're in good shape.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. As part of the assessment that we've done, a couple of years ago when I was looking at our grading rubrics, marketing was one, our small business management rubric was one. But as a result of the assessment process and gathering data back from the faculty, my rubric wasn't good, because I had some things where I talked about the pricing and the promotional mix. I had multifaceted items in a rubric, and how do you assign a score for two things and have one score for it? So as a result of this process, it made changes to a couple of the rubrics, and even little improvements like that. They make it easier they make it easier for students to follow, they make it easier for us to grade. And what's really crazy is about it, when I crunch all these numbers, is a consistency in the grading across the sections. The projects that I get back that are B projects for me in my class are B projects in a high school too. So it's working just like we intended it to work. So yeah, that part about it thrilled me, and that's what we do. Like which if you take a look at which one do you have handy? I'll pick either one. ACC 100.
Sure.
Yeah, the ACC 100, the Intro to Accounting course. This is a course that, honestly, moving to get it on out of here a little bit. It's a really basic course. I'm teaching it again this semester, and it's really to prep the kids for going into the ACC 110, so that they understand, cumulative preferred stock with dividends and arrears, how do we pay the dividends, just so they learn the language. So that's important. The problem with this particular course is it doesn't transfer all that well because it's so rudimentary and definition based. But yeah, if you would be teaching this thing, it's the project, the submission deadlines. If you take a look, I have on the bottom there. But the couple of things that I have you do for the midterm exam, there's a bank rec that we have. So I have that problem there. I also have my solution that I typed in there. Okay. On the final exam, this will be the problem that I give on a final exam, on the horizontal layout things, and have them do a couple of calculations. I'm also going to take it a little bit further. I'm going to I'll definitely be talking to them about normal balances and T accounts, and get them to do some basic journal entries so that when they do hit 110, they're going to be ready. But the nice part about this is this instruction sheet. It's fair because you know exactly what I'm looking for in these classes. We have the submission deadlines. You have my contact information if you need me. So every instructor is going to have that stuff. And the last part is just that submission assessment form. And this is the one that we've been using now for a couple of years. Not a whole lot to it. Your name, course name, what semester. Chances are it's going to be face-to-face, and location be high school and your high school name. And a lot of the high school ones are the whole academic year, so just check that. And whatever the assessment instrument is that you're using. In this ACC 100, I just have checked there that it's an exam, it's a test and a quiz, because it's a couple of problems. Those are the problems that I give on a midterm and then on the final in that particular course. So I get yours back and kind of just crunch all the numbers together. And I usually set a proficiency target. I like the students to score at about 80% or better on these things. That's kind of my internal target that I put in our database systems. And if I start looking at these things and they're not scoring at 80% or higher, then I start to dig a little bit deeper, and you'll find out why. Maybe I didn't do a good job. Maybe the kids are messing up with NSF checks and not knowing what to do with those in a bank rec. So I learned, and I put in our database system, the problem was with NSF checks, and next time I teach this thing, I'm going to stress that more. So crazy. It's we've got this database system that we use for this. It's called TrackDat, and we put this data in, and you can pair it up a million different ways, and the views that we can get as to what's happening out there. And what I don't do in our program, what I don't do when I put the data into the computer, I don't care if the data is from my class or from your class or from anywhere else. I just aggregate the data, and I look at everything as a whole, and what are we doing as a whole in this particular class with this assignment, and what do we need to change, if anything? And if not, then you might see in a couple years in one of those classes, it might be a different assessment that we use, because I'm kind of comfortable with where we are with that particular project or something. Let's move on and assess something else and see what the heck we can make better next time.
I know, by the end of the year, I'm doing something totally different.
Mm-hmm.
I usually don't give a midterm, but my midterm is a simulation that I do,
Nice.
which is similar to you, but we use a multi-column journal.
Sure.
So, do you want double? You want me to send you the multi-column journal packets and then send you from yours, because they're different because you're using multi-journals and ledgers where this is but we can. I don't know what to do because, our final, we backtrack a little bit to do your
Sure,
final.
sure. Send me your version of it. Let me take
Well,
a look.
it's a bought
Yeah.
packet simulation.
Yeah, send the results of that. That'll be good. Again, this is nice, but in accounting, when we're looking at the accounting cycle, it doesn't necessarily have to be my specific, project for that. Like in marketing, when we do our marketing thing, we kind of like everybody to do that same project because it's, and then, but with accounting, we can demonstrate those competencies, through just demonstrating.
Well, I can send you both because, like I said,
Yeah.
one's multi-column, which is a lot easier
Mm-hmm.
than the multiple
Right.
journals and ledgers.
If you want to,
The
Carol.
kids, they enjoyed that last year, because
Mhm.
I didn't teach that course before, and the day before we submitted,
Mhm.
we had for 2 or 3 periods, they just stayed in my room and we're all, okay, come on, everybody, it was like a
Nice.
big, they enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was a good visit I had with you last year too. That was cool. You did a lot of neat things with technology in your classes, so that was good to see. But just in general, what do you think about the process? Does it make sense? Will it, what can we do to make it a little bit better? Is it pretty clear? Maybe when we get back together again after we do this for a year, maybe we'll talk about and see, what can we change? What can we improve? What did I miss?
The
when I made
only
this up?
thing that I thought,
Mhm.
your grading thing for that mini lesson
Practice that, yeah.
was so small.
Yeah,
To me, it just didn't encompass the things they should know at that point,
Right.
you know what I mean?
That was an assessment, and the grading thing was developed by, not me.
Okay.
Yeah, so
The other
that's one
guy.
that, yeah, that's one, like this one, these are mine. So this one, they're pretty straightforward with what we're looking for there. But we're gonna get better. I'm really excited if we can get this new accounting person on and hopefully see what she wants to do with some of these accounting courses too. That'll be nice. That'll be, get a fresh eye in here and a new perspective, and she can. What I'll try to do is get her involved in a program too, and come out and do some visits with you too, to get to know her too. So that'll be. Keep my fingers crossed. Just keep my fingers crossed. But any other questions, comments, concerns about this? Good idea, bad idea? Worth trying at least? I don't know if there's a whole lot more that, you folks are all veterans with me. I mean, Jean's newly aboard with me, but you ladies are veterans with me, and you've been to these things before and had me at your schools and everything before, and any questions, concerns, anything about the program? You've been in it for years now. It's just, I get excited about this program. This is the one administrative part of my job I really do love, because the direct benefit are the beneficiaries of the kids. I put a lot of miles on, I visit a lot of schools, and when I hear stories like that one I told you at supper about transferring 58 out of 60 credits into UPJ as a computer science major, I mean, I just got goosebumps again telling you that. I mean, when he told me that, I was like, that is so cool. And I was walking out the door with my wife. We were walking out Best Buy then, and she said, okay, I see why you do it now. And so I said, yep, it's about the kids.
How about, have you had any success with them taking as much like at IUP and stuff? Because they have a big business college
Yeah.
at IUP. They have a big business college
Yeah.
at IUP.
Yeah, they take, well, I can tell you from my business programs, they start as full juniors at IUP.
Do
to
they
get their
really?
degree here. Oh, yeah.
Good.
Mount Aloysius, St. Francis, Penn State transfers really well with us. The toughest nut to crack is across the street. But now, that thing's broken wide open too.
You mean Pitt main campus
Pitt
takes
Johnstown.
more than?
Oh, yeah,
Johnstown?
yeah.
Hmm.
My son took micro and macroeconomics from me here in the summer between his, I don't know if his sophomore year he took one and junior year he took another. they transferred into Pitt, Maine as macro and microeconomics.
Well, I have a friend that's taking classes now, and she
Mhm.
wanted to transfer, and she said they won't even take their own.
No,
won't
it's,
transfer between.
the Pitt system's crazy with
Yeah,
this stuff. Oh,
there's
yeah.
stuff she's taking, they
Yeah.
won't transfer to main campus and vice
Yep.
versa.
And we transfer pretty seamlessly to both.
Good.
So, so it's, I think it's a factor too, that, you know, higher ed enrollment's down, you know, nationwide. So I think that's the thing that's caused UPJ to loosen up a little bit with some of this stuff. But it's, you know, we're really pleased, really excited about the opportunities that we're giving the students, and in this program, you guys are part of something that's really, it is nationally recognized. We go to these national conferences, and people, you're from Penn Highlands, and they stop us. I was talking to a guy from Syracuse about, and Syracuse is one of the ones that started it, but they were talking to me at the conference about how we reach, since we're so rural, you know, how we offer professional development. You know, they really wanted to hear more of that story and how we did things. And, you know, this is crazy. We're the littlest community college in Pennsylvania. We're talking to Syracuse. We're doing consulting for Maine, and it's just, it's.
You feed people, they'll come to you.
The other thing Melissa kind of mentioned that I'm excited about, even before she got here, I always said we need to get Pennsylvania together, and we need to look at Pennsylvania, and we all need to sing from the same hymn book. So we finally, at this last NASEP meeting, they always have the last, I think it's the last day, we have, it's called a state breakfast, so everybody from Pennsylvania who was at NASEP was, you know, we had breakfast together, and Melissa was actually kind of leading the meeting, and I said, hey, we need to talk about a state chapter in NASEP. So Mike Giordano from Pitt was there. So Mike said, hey, that sounds like a great idea. Westmoreland County Community College was there. Who else was there? It was another four-year school, but Melissa kind of referenced if you wanted to be involved in things, we're trying to set up for next June. We're trying to set up kind of a steering committee meeting, and those folks, along with the Secretary of Ed or the Deputy Secretary of Ed, are going to try to roll out this NASEP thing statewide with the colleges. It's coming anyway because of Middle States. Middle States is really, you know, wanting to really standardize these practices, and so it's, you know, we just want to get a hold of this thing, and so that everybody in Pennsylvania is doing it the right way. NASEP's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, as you all know, but the students get out with quality college credits that transfer, and they're prepared for college. Most importantly, they're prepared when they leave your campuses and go on to a four-year school. And that's honestly why we do what we do. We don't get rich doing this, but it's important work. So, discussion regarding the future direction of business program. Anything that you're hearing out there in terms of business ed that we need to look at? Any trends? Anything going on?
You guys offer finance courses?
We have, the only finance course that we have is we just have a personal consumer finance
Okay.
course. And, you know, it's an important course. I mean, we give these kids all these skills to get jobs, to go and get jobs. We don't teach them what to do with their money. So that's why I created that personal consumer finance course, so that we can at least do that. We have, I think on Tuesday night, I have our program advisory committee meetings. And those folks are the ones who can really help me drive change in our programs. At this time, we have an accounting program, AS program, we have business management, business administration. Kind of excited about our newest one. It's called Small Business Management. It used to be our tech management program, but you know, we repackaged it a little bit and changed the name to what it really is, Small Business Management. And I think that's really going to have an impact on enrollment. But where I'm really excited is in a lot of high schools who are comprehensive high schools, the voc tech kids don't have a lot of choices, and if they want to get into an associate's in high school program, where they're not really going to go in the liberal arts or anything, but this small business management program is, if they complete their tech degree at the high school, they get a block of 15 credits that they can transfer toward the 60 credit degrees, and it has courses in it like small business management and marketing and stuff like that, so that if they want to, we're talking with Myersdale, if they want to run the family farm, you know, they have the farming skills, they go through this program, they'll have the business skills to do it. So I'm really excited about that, and I think in the spring semester, Melissa and I are going to do a lot of road trips to high schools and really talk about the program. We're already slated to meet, I think, it's on February 16th in Hershey. I guess the VOTEC folks have their big yearly meeting there, and we're going there, and they want us to present about that program to them. So hopefully that'll open up some doors, and we'll have some more detailed discussions with those folks. But there's just a lot of exciting stuff going on with this program, and as you can tell, I'm a true believer. It
Last
helps
year,
kids.
our principal, she, to build up the courses, she started stressing the VOTEC kids taking the accounting class.
Yeah, you bet.
And so I had a big class last year. This year not so big, but you know, a lot of them own their own business. So you need to know the bookkeeping so nobody's taking your money
You bet.
at least.
You bet.
Because they'll say, well, I'll hire somebody, I said, but wouldn't it be nice to know that they're doing what they're
Supposed to be doing. Yeah, and that's part of the purpose of that small business management program. And so that's just also for veterans who come in, they can transfer if they're vets, they can get that 15 credit block transferred and finish off the degree with 45 credits. So it's just a nice little program. I'm excited about it. And, but are there any other niches that we're kind of missing? Maybe we can look at a finance track, and maybe we can in a program and see how that may transfer as to folks who are in those majors at four-year schools.
Our district just has a push right now with the career pathways
Mm-hmm.
that we're doing and the restructuring. So
Mhm.
our intro to business class is actually being turned into our first pathway course.
Mm-hmm.
But they're pushing it down into the 8th grade level
Mm-hmm.
for junior high, and then we have to replace that with something. So the big push right now is for finance, you know,
Right.
the college and career ready. And it would be a consumer finance class, but we had talked about, you know, both a personal and business finance.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now I'm surveying like the Westmoreland County schools to find out what people are doing.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that are going with the personal finance class.
Mhm.
So we're just trying to refine kind of how we're doing things,
Sure.
but we're small.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, are you willing to hire more teachers? Because you know how that goes.
Oh, sure.
Like, who's gonna teach this?
Right.
You know? So, I mean, my marketing class is growing. I have two classes of 30. And so I'm anticipating next year that I'll pick up a third, but I also have 2 sections of accounting and then one of accounting too. So
Your book.
like my plate's full.
Right.
And so I like the ideas, but who's going
Who's
to
gonna
teach
do it?
them?
We,
And just kind of where you put them
In sequence.
grade-wise, so we don't have a gap. Because right now, we're gonna have a gap in 9th grade. So it doesn't make sense to push the intro to business to 8th grade if you're not gonna put something in 9th grade
Well,
to give the kids
Yeah,
options.
if you'd like to see, you know, our syllabus for
Oh, I
it.
would love to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you just fire me an email, Michelle,
Okay.
and I'll get that to you.
Okay.
I teach in Somerset tomorrow morning, but I gotta be back on campus for those interviews, so I'll be able to shoot that back to you sometime tomorrow
Okay.
morning.
That'd be great.
Michelle, we've been teaching personal finance to 9th graders for forever.
Okay.
And what I found, there used to be a 12-week course, which was nice. I could get through credit cards, insurance, you know, we start off with learning about wages and how to calculate federal taxes and all the taxes and different ways you're paid, and go through getting an apartment, buying groceries. I don't get that far anymore. So what we've done, she split it, I said I want a semester, so I teach 9 weeks of personal finance, get as far as I can, and then I teach 9 weeks of accounting to 9th graders. Then that gets them prepped ready for older, they can go
Right.
as 10th graders in the advanced accounting class. My family consumer science teacher, her and I sort of coordinate, and the stuff I don't cover on credit, she covers. The stuff I don't cover on checking accounts,
Nice.
she covers. And we sort of try to find all the stuff in 9 weeks that we can together do it. So that might be
We
family
talked
consumer
about,
science.
like, and I work closely with her, Because right now she does have a consumer ed class that she does, very small enrollment. But we talked about, do we want to make this mandatory for every student? And we talked about the natural fit in 9th grade, but then really how it more benefits the 11th and 12th graders who are getting ready to go out into the real world. So that's my struggle right now, is figuring out the best place to put it.
But you know, they remember that because when I'm teaching advanced counting and we do the whole section on the checking account and stuff like that, I said, you guys remember, oh yeah, we remember that, writing the checks and doing the check registers and all that stuff, so, and the bank reconciliation, they remembered a lot of it.
Right.
So that might be a good place, because that's when kids, they start getting more money as 9th graders as they're going on. And I keep telling them, you earned it, don't give it away to somebody. You make sure you keep track of your money and pay your bills on time.
Right.
Well, the other thing that they talked about, and I think 2 or 3 years ago, there was a woman here who was teaching intermediate accounting for the first time. And we've toyed with that, but like, I'm the only person that, out of the 3 of us who can I've been teaching for 20 years, so, you know, I don't want to give up my marketing because I like that to teach, you know, so I don't know, it's a struggle. I'm just trying to find out what's going to best fit our students in preparing them, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just a big believer in that personal consumer finance course. I am and have been trying to work in, we have a general ed core that we have a little bit different for our AAS programs and our AS programs, but I would like to see, I'd like to wiggle that personal consumer finance course into the general education core, that everybody would have to take it, so that they have, our course is anything from your checkbook to life insurances to retirement and estate planning. It's a whole gamut. I mean, it's everything that they, at least they'll have a foundation, something to refer back to, or say, hey, I did talk about that in high school or college. And it's so important, so important.
And I think that's the direction we're heading for next year. It's just a matter of where to put it. You know, we've already decided we think that it will be a semester course, because I don't think it needs to be a full year. So,
yeah,
and I think it'd be cool to teach it, but I don't want to give up what I do, you know.
You bet.
And they would take yearbook away from me first, and I don't want to give up yearbooks, so.
No, I can. And like I said, I'll get you a syllabus, you guys
Okay.
take a look at it, and
That'd
see
be
if you have
great.
any questions, anything I can answer with that, and we'll
Yeah,
go from there with that class.
that would help.
Do you teach one, Jean? Personal finance?
I used to teach, well, actually, this year I do have, the second half of the year I'm gonna have, because I used to teach, and then they kind of moved it to family consumer science, and now we don't even have a family consumer science teacher anymore, so they gave it back to me. So I'll have, but I'm gonna have it for seniors. Now, I used to do 10th graders. I used to have, we call it general business, but I did a lot of personal finance in there. And then like that wiggled out, and like I don't even teach accounting anymore. I taught it for years, and then it was just,
You know, the funny part is, I'm always getting something from the state with surveys. Is your school teaching personal? Because they really want the kids to get that, because people defaulting on their loans and, you know, all that stuff.
Absolutely.
And,
See, I'm worried about pushing our intro to business down to the 8th grade, because I think it's over their heads. So I think that should go to 9th grade. Like, my theory is a little bit different. I want them to bring back our ICT class, put it in 7th grade, move the 7th grade career pathways to 8th grade, move our 8th grade intro to business class to 9th grade, and then pull the personal finance in at a higher grade level.
You know, it's hard to put together a business plan when you're that young, and think about the components of a business plan.
Yeah.
You know, at an adult level, when you're that young.
Well, and the other thing is too, is it's one of the courses we offer for college credit. So they're saying, you know, we need to replace it with another course that's going to be offered for college credit, because obviously if it's pushed to the 8th grade level, it's very watered down, and it's changed, because it's semester, not a year. And so that was the other thing that we're looking at. So it's just kind of like we're all on different pages. Like, me and the principal are on the same page.
Right.
But I'm not so sure the assistant superintendent is where we are.
And sometimes that's the toughest part, is just getting everybody singing from the same hymn book and figuring out what you want to do. I mean, but I mean, those are great discussions to have, and you'll get it figured out. And the
Yeah,
kids
I
will
have
benefit.
to, like in the next month.
See, you'll get it figured out.
I don't have a choice.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Ultimately, it'll be what they want me to do, and I'll just be like, okay,
Yeah.
you know, but we'll see.
That's way I am there too. But is there anything else I can help you with? Anything else I can answer?
I was just gonna ask, what, since you're this is my first year, I'm doing the intro to business, what classes have you taught through Penn Highlands?
Years ago, I did the digital editing and the web design, and there was one more, I think it was Flash. Because I through a year, I could teach 3 different ones, and then just last year, I started teaching the accounting, because they don't do that anymore.
No.
And I've taught the intro to business, and now I'm currently teaching. There's another teacher who's doing the intro to business now. And I am teaching marketing and accounting, principles of accounting, the 110 class. And I think I actually get a little bit further than what,
Yeah, probably get past our competencies. If you
Yeah.
have a year-long class.
yeah.
Yeah, and I get jealous of you guys sometimes because you have a year to do and I have to crunch into 15 weeks.
But the kids that I can get in accounting 1 and accounting 2 that go to, like, I just had a student come in and visit me the other day, and he said, oh my gosh, my first accounting class was a breeze. He said,
Nice.
like, and so it
Nice.
makes you feel good, because,
Oh, that makes
you
you
know.
feel great. And I mean, that's why, and the thing about, our jobs, we hear that feedback once in a while. We make such an impact that we don't know because we don't hear about it that often, but when we do hear it, boy, it feels good. Reason to get up front of the classroom every day, for sure.
And I love it. I was an accounting major for a while. I
Uh-huh.
switched my major when I was a junior.
Mhm.
I love teaching it, because kids oftentimes will say to me, like, you teach accounting, but you didn't want to be an accountant. I said, it's different, I'm a teacher. Like, I like teaching accounting, I didn't want to be an accountant, you know?
My bachelor's is in accounting too.
Yeah.
And I practiced for a while, it wasn't my thing. And, I was blessed after I got my master's degree to have a chance to get into teaching, and I love it. It's my thing.
And I used to teach, when I first started, that was the textbook we had, was the multi-column. And then I switched to the special journals, general journal approach, and then I introduced the special journals.
Nice,
So,
very nice.
and I actually like that better. I didn't think I would, but I do.
You know, with the kids, especially with the 9th graders with the accounting, the multi-column is so much easier because they're not fishing around through every journal. They don't have to know what journal to put it in. It's just there, and it's great to start with the younger kids or somebody that's never had. I like, because it's so easy. And then second half of the year, we jump into the 5 journals for this and 6 ledgers, you know. They know that one, their papers are over the desk and.
Well, they can get the concepts without the frustration of where do I put it and,
Right.
yeah. That's
So-
important, that's the important thing.
Now, I'm just curious, when you teach a college class, do your kids, you say, okay, go home, work on the problems, come back if you have any questions?
What was I doing on Wednesday? We were talking about in the 100, we were talking about all the cumulative preferred stock and dividends and arrears and all that stuff. And so what I did is I did a sample. I my notes. I had them open to page whatever in a book. Let's do this exercise. I gave them about 5 minutes in class to do the exercise. We went over in class. And I said, okay, guys, for homework, I need you to do the next 3 or 4 problems I had them do. And so they went away and did that. And when I give them homework in accounting, the very first thing I do in the next class is I go over it. I need to know that they understand the concepts and all that stuff. So I went over it. They did really, really well, and went on to the next thing. That's what I found works best for me when I teach accounting classes. It's more. I like to have them do a problem in class before they go away and do their homework. The last thing I want is them to go home and go, I don't understand anything. That frustration. Because it can come. They still confuse accounting with math, and it's just not. And I can't convince them that it's not.
Add and
But,
subtract.
yeah. Sometimes you multiply. Once in a while divide.
One percentage there,
Yeah. Ooh, don't say the P word. Percentage bad. So.
There's 2 places my kids always, and it's been consistent for as long as I've been teaching accounting. They don't understand the concept of what the balance columns are for in a ledger.
Right.
And then they get confused. If
Mhm.
they copy it from the journal in a debit column, they want to put it in the credit column, they're, no,
Yeah.
repeat after me, a balance is a
Mhm.
result of math. You gotta do something.
Right.
That and adjusting entries on a worksheet.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
can go over those 100 times. The last time I did, I said, okay, put the word used underneath. This is how much you used. That's what
That's
goes,
all.
in. Took a test. Half the class put in the wrong thing up there, like, oh, what can I do?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's-
they're always-
They're tough. They're tough to get them to think like that.
Yeah,
But once it clicks,
Yeah.
then they're golden. And
Yeah.
I always tell students, you know what, accounting, it's not hard, it's a process. Once you understand the process, you can figure out any accounting problem you need to figure out.
because it's repetitive,
It
it
is.
just goes over and over.
That's it, that's it. So, well, it's fun. It's neat talking teaching, you know, we don't get time in our days to do this too much. We're just so busy. But anything else for the good of the order, anything I can help you with, or anything you can share with me, innovative stuff? You guys all do innovative stuff. Well, if
Are
not,
you using the AnyMeeting? Is that what you're trying for your online?
you're trying, yeah.
Are you using AnyMeeting?
No, not yet. I looked at it. They have, what the heck's the little thing that I bring up? I don't even know the name of the program. I just go click on it and get going. This is my first year of teaching video. I was telling Carol when I was visiting her last year, I have to do a video conferencing course and I'm nervous about it, and because she does all that technology stuff, and it has gone so well. And I'm really pleased with it, and it's a fear that I had for years that I found out was just unfounded once I got in front of the classroom and did it, and I didn't screw it up.
You know what, I started using this year, I knew it was there, but I wasn't sure how it was going to work.
Mhm.
At the end of, with any meeting, you can create a survey
Mm-hmm.
at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I started using that this year, and it was great, because I had the kids 2 questions. It's on,
Mhm.
what did you learn, you
Yeah.
didn't know, and what
Nice.
don't you know? And then I'll print it off in a hurry, and then I'll go around the room, okay, what do you mean you were having problems with this? Because
Right.
sometimes they won't ask it, but that's been working really well.
That is such a great assessment tool.
Mhm.
That's a really, I'll have to come out and visit you again.
Yeah,
before
you're
you-
welcome
before you
anytime, but you're
retire.
gonna come this year.
Yeah, yeah, you gotta come this year though. Well, if we're good folks, we are, that's a wrap for this year's professional development. Get you home safely and a little bit early, and
Thank you.
hope